What's up, fellas?
Oh,
Hey, happy
let's
Wednesday,
go.
man.
Happy
What's
Wednesday,
up, guys?
boys. What's
Get
up?
it,
What's
let's get it.
up?
What up? How you guys feeling?
Good, good, good. How we living?
Always good, baby. Always good.
Always good, man. Always closing, man. That's all
love
it
it.
is.
I got good news for you guys. I got two things of good news. Good news number one, I had a closing yesterday, and it was not for $12,000.
Oh, how much was it?
Yeah, let's go.
What are we talking? What are we talking?
Little 25 piece. What the heck?
Yeah, there we go. There we
What
go.
it should be. I got another 20 piece next week, and then like an 8 piece next week. So it'll be a good week next week too. What the heck,
There we go, man.
Nice August already.
bro? What the heck? All right, yo, my boy Harrison just came on. Harrison's a beast. I'm gonna let him on.
What's up, gents?
Hey,
Yes,
what's
there he is.
What's up, Noah?
Fella,
What's up, Jordan? Nick, thanks for having me.
Man.
bro,
Nick
Harrison, I'm so
Harrison.
happy that you're gonna be on here.
Hell yeah. Let me get my glasses on so I can actually not get confused by looking at a blue screen for too long.
There we
Let's get to
go.
it,
I told these guys that you're a beast. Harrison last year with him and like one other acquisitions guy and then a dispo guy, they did
Mhm.
like 2.7. He
Yeah,
comes on my
2.7.
pod, he brings his P&L with him, throws it in my face. He's like, yo, Pop, this is what I want to talk about. It was super
I did do that. Yeah, definitely. It backs the claim, so to speak. You can't really debate the P&L. So yeah, that covers it. So. But yeah, man. So we did about 2.7 million last year with 2 acquisitions reps. Me being obviously one of them, a lead manager, and then my previous business partner Nate in dispositions, and handling a lot of the systems. So it was a well-oiled machine. In terms of lifelong enjoyment, I mean, it was definitely a hustle, man. We were, it was not, you burn out quick with that type of system going on, but definitely maximum profit. I think we were probably like 40 to 45% like net profit to gross revenue ratio. So it was definitely solid for sure. But again, in terms of living a good life, I guess it's kind of what's important to you, right? If making money is one thing and that's the only thing you're focused about, yeah, great. If you want to stop and smell the roses on occasion and go on vacation, not possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was tough for sure. But I mean, that was pretty much 4 years of hard work, dedication, and trusting the process to get to that point. Of course, once we did, some people didn't want to do anymore because we made enough money, I guess, to kind of sit back and kind of think about what we want to do next. So, yeah, I'm full-fledged into it now. We had our first month, it's like 200 plus this year. Again, I didn't really fire up marketing until pretty much February of this year. It does take some time. That's one thing that a lot of people have to realize too, is if you pause marketing for a while and then you go right back to it, it's going to take time for that snowball to really build. It's going to take a long time to build up the pipelines. PPC can be quick, but a lot of times still there's follow-up involved. You're still tuning the systems, trying to figure out which vendor's the best because you got to deal with different marketing vendors. And it's still a learning curve, even if you know exactly what it takes to get back to it. It's still going to take time.
Yeah.
You're bringing on employees, you're teaching them how to be good at sales, you're building a team again. And those things take time. So that's a lot of something that people really need to focus on too, is when building a wholesale company, it's all delayed gratification. It's not going to be immediate. It's going to take some time. You could start as one-man band, build a pipeline of your own leads, make money from those. But as soon as you start bringing people on, as soon as you start increasing marketing, it's not immediate returns. It's going to take 2 to 3, maybe even 4 months to actually see that work out. So it takes balls. You got to have the balls, man. You have to do it. So that's where I'm at right now.
And Harrison, what market is that? Is that nationwide? Is that a specific market? I heard you just said PPC, so you're running PPC as well?
Yeah. I'm local. I'm an in-person, belly-to-belly salesperson. My market's from Philadelphia all the way out to Lancaster, sometimes further, maybe as far as Cumberland County, but as high as Allentown, and as south as northern Delaware, northern Maryland.
Nice.
So I have a good little chunk there. We did try doing virtual in Pittsburgh. It's not natural for me. I feel that you can be successful doing it. And obviously you can. I mean, people do it. I just think it's a little bit tougher. I think it involves, I let's say it's hard to build rapport with sellers, really, for me. And I think a lot of what I do, what I'm good at, it revolves around building like rapport with sellers. And sure, maybe I don't get as good as like, my cost per contract is probably higher than someone who's virtual, but my wholesale is going to be way higher. I mean, my spread is like, I average like 30K spreads,
Nice.
in this market. I seldom have anything lower than. If I do, it's like surprising, and I think most virtual guys are probably 15K or so. But to answer your question, I'm a local guy.
Nice, cool.
Good. I need another local guy on here because
Yeah, right.
Jordan and Noah are both virtual, and I'm the odd one out.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Well, hey man, if whatever floats your boat, man, whatever works. If you have the proof of concept and you're making a lot of money doing it, keep doing it. Why would you ever stop? So.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know how you got into it, but for me, it was I'm in the heart of New York City, right? So this is not a great place to wholesale. First of all,
where are you? I'm sorry, I got a lead calling me right now. He's trying to back out of an agreement, so I'm ignoring his phone call.
So I'm in Queens. Oh, that's the fucking worst, bro. That is the worst.
Yeah. I mean, on that subject, Jordan. I mean, it's never fun, but it's part of. I mean, people always want to think that wholesale is like all the butterflies and roses, but dude, any part of real estate is. I mean, we're like gutter hawks, dude. Like we're just in the shit. You're dealing with people who are in the shit. Like it's never easy.
Right.
Sometimes it's easy, and when it is, it's great. But a lot of times it's back and forth. And I just flat out let people out of agreements for the most part. Unless I have other people involved or like it's too good for me to pass out. But I'm making her work for it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I want to see proof.
You don't do the list pendant, like the memorandum.
I do list pendants if it's someone who knew exactly what they're getting into, got a fair offer and like sought me out, and then went at their price. And if they're trying to find someone else to offer them more money, then no, I don't let them out. But if it's someone who's actually got like health issues, or there's a way that I know and they can prove to me that they can save their house and they're not just trying to get more money, I do let them out. I mean, I kind of run the company like Chick-fil-A, I mean, the client is essentially, we're a service-based industry. I mean, we're offering a service, an easy way to sell your home in an expedient manner because they got to get out of a shitty situation. So if they can save themselves from the situation and it's not like if someone's offered them $5,000 more, then yeah, I'll let them out. So.
I'm the same way. I mean, we had someone yesterday. We have a closing Friday for I think 28 or something like that. And she's like, yeah, like I actually don't want to move, even though she came to us through PPC. We spent money on getting shit for like a storage company and stuff like that. So it's already way too deep to just like let her out. But like,
she's in it. Yeah, she's at that point.
Yeah, it's my father's property. I'm not really looking to sell. My husband's sick, this and that. I'm like, go ahead. You know what I mean? Because I think, listen, the deal's going to come regardless. The next one will come. If you do right by people, they'll come,
Word travels faster than money, for sure. Absolutely.
Exactly, yeah.
If you build a business off of pissing people off and getting lawsuits, it's not going to go very far.
Amen.
However, I do think that to an extent, like, especially if it's something I'm buying, like if I'm not like doing like some type of, if it's an installment sale, it's not even an option. They can't back out, which I've been doing a lot of installments and we can get into that. But if it's something I'm buying myself, and again, they knew what they're getting into, I have filed multiple list pendances before and I've taken them to the finish line. So I'm not opposed to it. It's just in certain situations, morally, it's not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And so that's what you have to kind of ask yourself. Like, I mean, how much is, you got to put yourself in their shoes. I mean, again, if someone's just wanting to get more money, they're screwed.
Forget it. We made $50,000 on one last month. We filed it, and then he wanted to sell for more money, and they went to go sell, and our shit blocked his, and he was like, "All right, I'll give you $50,000 to release it." I'm like,
yeah, that's a nice three piece. What do you want to do?
It was a higher end property, so obviously, like the purchase price was obviously bigger, but yeah, man, can't let people fuck with your money either.
No, and I think to an extent too, it's like morally correct on our end at some point in time. You sign a legally binding agreement, it's got to mean something. You don't see people like buying a car and then trying to back out of it later. It's just because we're in a different small business world, like we're supposed to bend the knee all the time. No, I don't think that's right either. So
I agree. Agreed.
Nah, you can't always be bending the knee.
No. Dude, I got sellers. I've had this happen. Probably $100,000 worth of deals in the last couple months, where one of them specifically, the seller reached out at 6 a.m. the morning after he signed the contract.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's the
he
worst.
texted me and said, I'm remorseful. Like, I want to get out of this. I don't want to do this. I know you're excited. I don't want to do it. And I just didn't answer him. I just said, you know what? He can just deal with whatever he got going on over there. And 12 hours later, he texted back. He said, sorry for my indecision. I'm ready to go. We can close.
I like that. I like that.
I said, okay. I texted him. I said, hey, talk good. I said, I get it, man. No, don't worry about it. We'll get it closed. You'll be happy. And there's another one. The lady reached out, and this was I had this one assigned for 60 some. And the lady reached out. She did email me. She wouldn't answer the phone, wouldn't text me, didn't call me. And she had emailed me, and she said, Noah, please cancel the contract right now. I have things that need my immediate attention. So what was the objection? Time, right? Yeah. I said, hey, that's no problem at all. I said, you can take all the time you need. I'm willing to wait. I'll send you an extension. If we need 90 more days, whatever it is you need, we'll go ahead and get it done. And she then said, cancel the contract. I said, cancel the contract. And I said, hey, we can't just cancel the contract. If there's anything, let me know what it is you need. I'll help you. I paid you cash for earnest money deposit. Willing to take however long you need. I didn't negotiate. I gave you your asking price. Whatever it is you need, I'll help you. And then she just ended up saying, whatever, let's close.
I think a lot of it's – I think you guys have salespeople that work for you too as well. Yeah. So a lot of it too is about what you tell your salesperson to tell them when they're signing that agreement. The first thing I tell them, and I've always told them, dude, listen, this is before we get started here, just want to let you know, preface before we get into the terms, and I read from top to bottom the whole agreement with them. This is a legally binding agreement. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I mean by that? And they're like, yeah, I understand. No, I just want to clarify. If someone offers you $1 million more for this property, you cannot sell it to them. This is a legally binding agreement between us and you. I'm liable. You're liable. That's what this is. I mean, you got to understand, you're selling your house, you sign this, sure, if you need more time, other things like that, we can definitely be flexible. We're only human here. But again, I just want to be clear on the terms here. This is a legally binding agreement. They actually, there's a joke on my board in here. They have how many times I say legally binding agreement. I think it's like 20 times so far on the board. So now it's another 5 or 6, 25 now. But again, you just got to reiterate that a lot. And I found that helps because I think people, as a salesperson, you want to try to keep like the nitty gritty. You want to keep like the cantankerous conversation, away from sellers because they're coming to you, and a lot of times they're naive. They don't really know what they're getting into, and you want to try to keep that friendly vibe. But there is points in time where you have to like be serious with them and like really stress what they're getting themselves into in order to prevent that tough conversation later. Because there's nothing worse than when the seller comes back to you and they're like, hey, I want to get out of this, and you're like, well, you can't, and then all of a sudden they're no longer your friend. Like, what? I'll get my attorney. I'll sue you. And you're like, sue me for what, man? You signed a legally binding agreement to sell your house.
Get your attorney to see that you did sign.
Yeah. I've had attorneys come back to me, like where they're like, yeah, my client wasn't in the right state of mind. I'm like, sure you want to do that to them? I was like, you want to make that public? Like you want to have them, like, especially if like, they're any serious role. Like if they're an attorney, so if the person you signed the agreement with is an attorney as well, and they state that they're not in a serious state of mind, if they have any active cases or anything like that, that's not going to pan out well for them because now it's public information, they're not of sound mind, or if it's like a doctor or anyone else of like any serious, if you have someone who actually isn't in sound state of mind, it is a fair argument. So that is a way to get out of an agreement. But again, stressing the importance of like legally binding agreement, like verbatim, like what you tell them. And I mean, most people don't really you don't run into that situation. Out of 10 leads, 10 contracts you have every month, maybe you run out of 2. We seldom ran into that issue where people tried to back out because, again, we make sure that we're a good fit for them and vet them pretty well. But it does happen, and that is part of the game.
I got a lady back down on me. It was a bang I locked up recently. She went ghost on me. She finally answered. She said, never contact me again. And that's all I got out of her. So we'll see what happens.
The spendings, man. I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
maybe I got this sucker so cheap I felt bad.
Yeah, and so
she definitely woke up the next day. It was a pre-foreclosure guy, so we stopped the foreclosure is like postponed, and once that happened, she's like, "All right, never mind. These guys are beat." So whatever.
That's happened to me too. I actually just saved a lady from foreclosure, and she just let it go to foreclosure in a month.
Good for her. She deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I tried everything I could do. She had some issues, I would say, and had other demons she had to fight, and I guess just wanted to go to foreclosure, and it did. And she actually got a little bit more than what I offered her, so I guess in the end it worked out in that regard. So I mean, where's she goes? Although I did offer her more down the line, because of course, like Noah was alluding to, I tried to renegotiate, offer her more money, whatever she needed to feel like this was the right decision, and that was it. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, man, and I think that's kind of where like you have to have massive nuts, dude. You have to have steel will, because if you most people, if they encountered the stress that we encounter, like there's like the highest highs. You have like a fat agreement, and then you're like, oh man, dude, I'm buying stuff, I'm getting a watch, whatever your plans are. You have fun stuff planned, and the next thing you know, like, yeah, I can't sell my house anymore, and then all those plans are crushed, just done, dude. And you got to be able to balance that and continue to keep going, to keep pushing, because if you keep the ad spend up, your marketing's going, your process is good, there's still gonna be more leads. On to the next one, get over it, move on.
That's why I say just keep the pipeline full, man. When you keep the pipeline full and you're not depending on 1, 2, 3 deals, it makes it much easier. But we just had one 2 Fridays ago where we locked up for 190. An hour and a half later, we had a buyer for, I forgot, 240 or 250. Hour and a half. You know what I mean? I could have pushed it up to like a $60,000, $70,000 assignment fee. And she was like, oh, actually, while I was away, I gave my mother power of attorney, and she signed with someone before 3 days before I signed with you.
I'm dead.
So now I'm trying to like poke holes in their agreement and shit. I'm still going through it back and forth with them, but
yeah, you can always try to work it out. If it even comes down to paying the other guy like $5,000 just to F off, I mean, people do that. I've done that. I've had to do that because I've had sellers sign like 4 agreements at once, all before mine.
Same.
And I still took it to closing, but it was just like, dude, like, what were you doing? Like, what's going on? I'm processing one of those right now. I have to pay people out, and it's kind of the way it goes. But like, none of them had the tools to actually help the seller, or maybe they did, but none of them really. I guess I would really just make it as simple as they didn't build the same rapport that I did with the seller, and so the seller like won't even talk to them, even if they're offering them more money. Like they're just working with me now. So that's something too that really can get the deal done. If someone signs the agreement before you, sure, maybe they could file list pendants, but what does that really amount to? I mean, it's a 6-month lawsuit. They have to pay legal bills for that, or you just get a quick payout and you just pay them to move on.
Bro, half these wholesalers are so broke they don't got the money to do that anyway. So
or even know how to.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have the connection to an attorney that can actually file that. And then you have to serve the seller, and there's a whole bunch of fun stuff in relation to, especially in the state of Pennsylvania. So it's not like a simple thing. It's not what anyone wants. That's why you'd renegotiate before that or try to work things out with other parties. But there is people who make a darn good living. We just got a question, a darn good living out of just literally filing list pendants left and right. There's a dude in Wilmington, Delaware, who does it all the time. Even if he signs after your agreement, if the seller signs his agreement, he files it right away. It's crazy.
Respect.
And you have to try to refute it in court, and it's just like, well, is that really something you even want to do? I'd rather just give this guy $5,000 and close, get out of here. So,
yeah,
a crazy business model.
No, it's not an ideal one, right?
I wouldn't want it, but I still appreciate it.
No, the craziest thing is he still has good reviews too. I don't know how he's managed to do that.
Well, he must be doing a lot of good things. God bless him.
Yeah, I guess, or he buys properties under different names. I don't know. No idea. So.
Yeah. There we go. So Harrison, how much you spending in marketing now?
Right now we're probably around 56,000 total.
How much a month?
A month.
56,000 a month.
Oh, big boy!
Or is that?
It's about $25,000 PPC, $25,000 mail, $5,000 to $6,000 cold callers.
Okay.
Jeez, bro. How many leads you get?
What's that bringing you a month?
Well, last year we were averaging like $300K a month. When we started, so like we started off, I think the year of 2024 with like a $25K budget, and started titrating up, and by like 6 months in, we're at like 50,000+ in marketing. So like I just know where it's going to take me. Like I've been there. I follow the KPIs. Santini also said something that I really liked, and you clipped it about simply just understanding like how much you have to spend in marketing to bring in X amount of gross leads, turns into how many net conversations, turns into how many appointments, to how many offers, to how many contracts. I mean, if you follow those numbers, you just know where you need to be. That's like the top of the funnel, like KPIs for it. And so that's what I understand. I know where I need to be. I have the guys to handle it too. now. So yeah, it's definitely a hefty marketing spend, and it's definitely something to consider. It's a
Yeah, you
fat
talking
overhead.
about balls? You got some balls, my boy. That's super gangster. I love it.
Yeah, I just threw
what are you
it right
doing?
back out there.
You're doing 300. So average about 10 deals a month at 30 grand a month.
Yeah, last year we did about 10 deals. I mean, last month we did about 10 deals. So we have 10 closings in August. So I'm
Okay.
finally getting my money back.
How many sales guys? Are you still in a
Two.
sales role?
No, I am hybrid right now, but yeah, no, I have 2 sales guys that have been following my, essentially my process to the T, and they're doing very well.
Nice.
So making all types of pitches, installment sales, all that stuff. I've been doing majority of my transactions have been either installments or me buying it myself. So
get out.
yeah,
You got a
I've
lot
been flipping a lot.
Installment sale thing.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of what they are, but there's a couple people have been pushing it, like big names.
Yeah,
But it's a good way to get around Act 52. So essentially, what you do is that you sign a regular sales agreement, but that sales agreement would say that they're going to be paid in installments. So you get clear title. So it may take like 5 to 10 days for clear title, right? Once you get clear title, you give them essentially a non-refundable deposit directly to them. Now, once they do that, you sign an ISA with them and get that notarized. That gets recorded and sent to the county in which property you're buying it, and actually puts you on deed with the seller. So then when you go to sell the property to the end buyer, you're now on the deed. So you're not selling your actual interest. You're selling your actual interest in the property.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy. And there's really no way to refute that, right? Because how are you going to tell someone who technically owns a property now that they can not sell the property to someone else? What's cool about it too is that you're protected for that money you gave them, because that seller now can no longer sell the property unless you sign whatever agreement that they're doing. You can market the property too, so it kind of takes a place of novations as well. So if you talk to the seller and that's something that they want to deal with, and they're okay with those terms, as long as they can get like 5 whatever money they want. I mean, I've already done a $50K front to a seller before closing. So I mean, it's really what they need, and how you can make the deal work. And at the same time too, it's let's just say like there's like 12 wholesalers contacting this guy and they're all offering assignments. Yeah, you get all the money in 30 days, but this guy needs a place to go. Maybe he's got bills, maybe whatever it is, like they're about to take his car, and sure, he could definitely use that money in 5 days versus 30. So like you can get him a large amount of his equity up front directly to him and know that you're protected in the transaction, and he'll be happy as a clam because he's got the money now that he needed. It helps with relocation too. So if you want to front someone a year's worth of rent to get them in a rental property, because otherwise you can't deliver the property vacant, you're protected for that as well. That's what I generally do with this. So like it generally comes in handy if they like need like 14 grand, to get an apartment or something, and they have bad credit, and the only way to get them in is to pay a year up front. So I'll give them that 14 grand once I get clear title.
And what's your general pitch with that? Because I'm sure when some people hear like, oh, you're going to be on the deed with me, maybe it's not the most exciting thing to them, or
yeah,
the safest to them. How do you basically overcome that?
You ready?
I'm ready.
Hey Jordan, great news. We definitely want to buy the property. You do qualify, for our cash offer at whatever the value is, just say $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jordan, I actually went the step above that, and I know that you could really use that money up front. So we have something called our cash forward program. Now, this is actually a program where essentially we can actually pay you, that $10,000 you desperately need, because I know that's why you need to sell, before the final closing, and the remainder at the final closing. Now, Jordan, of course, we're going to be protected for that $10,000. So once we give you that $10,000, there's no way for you out. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's pretty much a sealed deal. But, again, you're getting the same price, but we're able to give you a lot of money up front if this is something you're interested in. Now, if they're a good fit, they're 100% going that route because it's a no-brainer for them, right? You've already addressed that they're a good lead. They're a good fit for us. We're able to help them. I always throw in like relocation assistance too, to make sure I can help them find a place to go. And the whole thing kind of melds together, and they never really have an issue with the ISA.
You'll sign whatever you want them to sign.
What's the ISA? Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're fine with it. They don't really care. But yeah, I call it my cash forward program. It's something I kind of teed up, and they really like that for the most part. Now, of course, there's like, there's properties that aren't a good fit for that. There's someone who's like, they just want, they have money, they want the easy way to sell, and so I just buy it, and then wholesale it. So I just put it right on the market after that. So. Or double close.
You're wholesaling most stuff though. You're not just assigning.
No, I'm either double closing or using my cash forward program or installments.
Oh, get out.
It's
All
the
right.
future. Yeah, it's the future, man, for sure.
I'm trying to get this 100%. So I'm saying, hey, man, listen, I know you want this. How about I'll give you some cash right now because I know you really want it. Like, serious, this amount of cash right now from me to you, here it is. And I'll give you the rest whenever we close on X date. And then I give them the cash. They sign a purchase and sale agreement with me. And then what is an ISA, and how does that allow me to sell the house to somebody else without his permission? All that.
Yeah, so the ISA is essentially recording the sale. So you actually wait until you get clean titles. You don't give them the money right up front, right? You could, I guess, in theory, if you're confident about what they owed, but that would just be putting yourself in a situation where there could be risk involved. You know, again, obviously it's not as easy as like a simple assignment, right? Still a little bit more risk involved, a little bit more time. No more closing costs besides like a notary fee. So you're not actually double closing. You're not paying twice the amount of transfer tax because there's only one actual closing. But the ISA, what it does, it gets recorded against the property and actually goes on the deed. So in order for them to actually sell the property, you have to sign off on the deed now, because you have actually bought their property on paper, like it's purchased. You're just waiting to pay the transfer tax at the final closing. So you can do whatever you want now with the property because you're on deed. You know, you don't just have an agreement between each other. You know, you're on deed. There's a little bit more to it. So you're not selling your equitable interest. You're selling your interest in the property.
But they're still on the deed as well.
Yes, absolutely. So you go on with them. Exactly.
So if I find a buyer, if hey, I paid you 10 grand, I owe you 90, I got somebody that's going to buy it from me at 150.
You get the 10 grand you give them up front plus the spread between the 90 and the 50. So you get your 10K back. They still walk away with 90. They just got 10K up front and the 80 on the back end.
Where would it say that on paper?
Sales agreement right up there. So it'd say like, hey, you know, I'm buying this property in installments, you know, 10,000. Let's just say like we locked it up on August 1st. So 10,000 by August 10th, 90,000 by August 30th.
And Harrison, are you doing any repairs to any of these properties, or you
could? So you could do whatever you want.
Yeah, we have one right now. We're doing that in fucking Nebraska, where we have it basically. We're getting them. We agreed to get her 140 at closing. The agreement was to make her whole in terms of the payments that she was behind on her mortgage. We're putting about 20 into it, and we're selling it for 245. But that's exactly what happened. We signed that. I'm on the deed, fucking with her. So now she can't go sell the property after I put all the renovations in and stuff like that. So it protects us. Basically, exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And so that's a perfect example of like where an installment sale would be really handy too, as well. I mean, it's a specific situation where you might want to come in and throw money into it before the actual final closing. So you want to make sure you're protected for that, right?
Right.
So that would be a good example.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I guess where installment sales are tough is like where people are starting out. Like if you have no money, you know, and you're trying to do installments, like it's gonna be really tough because where are you gonna get that, you know, that money, that upfront money? That takes you having cash in your bank account, especially if you're doing multiple transactions every month. I mean, you have to have cash. I mean, you're pretty much like a flipper. You know, you're putting a down payment down.
And with those hotels that you're doing, are you funding them yourself, or are you using private money?
Private money.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a really good private money connection. You know, he's definitely my little dirty secret. So that comes in handy. It's like 13% annualized, but there's no points up front.
Nice.
And I don't pay until closing. So he'll just like keep the payments at closing. So I'm not paying a monthly fee or anything like that.
Nice. Link me with this boom.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll hook you up, Nick.
My boy.
Yeah, he's the man for sure, and he's also like a very experienced investor. So like in terms of like appraisals and stuff like that, I just send him photos and comps, and he comps, and he's like, yeah, I'll lend on it. You know, it's a great deal, 100%. What do you need for rehab? Like, yeah, probably 50 grand. He's like, 100%. Got it. Yeah. All right. You just pay the closing cost. It's nice. Yeah, it comes in handy.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's cool, man.
I have like 7 active projects right now. It's the most flips I've ever done at one time. I have to say it's not the easiest thing in the world. You know, I definitely could use a construction manager. It's not my favorite. Actually doing the rehabs, wholesales are super easy because you just go and you clean it out, stage it, list it, right? Yeah. You know, a flip that's more involved, which is pretty much everything I'm taking up. Like you're going in, you're obviously doing the work and stuff, takes more time. Now you're managing contractors, you know, dealing with pulling permits, you know, getting the money that's required for it. You know, it takes more time. It's more nonsense. the payoff's way bigger, but it's tough because you have to kind of build that snowball. Because like if you start like a flipping company, you're not going to really see returns for quite some time. So you have to have that holding money to kind of take care of yourself until then. So you see a lot of the guys that evolve from like wholesale to flipping, like it takes them a long time to build like that confident pipeline of flips and projects that they know are going to close, and for them to actually plan to see like their cash.
Yeah.
What is it? Cash, not cash return cycle. What is it, man? I can't believe I'm forgetting it.
Conversion.
Cash conversion cycle. Yeah. So they have to kind of, you have to have that. And that's kind of the beauty of wholesale because it's quick. It's a month. Your marketing is going to be covered. It's a lot easier just to watch like $50K come out of your bank account every month for marketing, and then you have to pay salaries and all that other stuff, insurance, everything, all that stuff. It takes some serious brass balls because you really, when you're flipping, you don't see that until like it's like finally listed. You're like, oh shit, this is gonna get listed. I'm gonna get money in a month.
Yeah.
But until that point, you're like, oh, what's going on, man? This is draining my account. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm at risk. But you got to remember, like at the end of the day, that it's gonna pay off. But it's tough. It takes time, and so a lot of the flippers do. Like they either have a lot of money already, and they have access to a lot of money, or they went from wholesale to flipping, or they're still wholesaling and flipping. So that's kind of like where like I like the installment sales because it takes a lot of the it eats up a lot of like the marketing costs I have and stuff like that. It covers the nuts, so to speak, and then the flips are where I'm going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, that was one of the main things Santini said that really stuck with me. Where he was like, I forgot the exact words that he said, but I think it was something like the marketing and sales business and the flipping business, like two completely separate things.
100%.
You shouldn't be funding your marketing and sales business, or you shouldn't be funding your own flips. Really, that all that money should be going into the marketing and sales business. Because I have 5 flips going on right now. Fucking pain in the ass, man. I'm like, I can't wait till these things are sold. All my money is back. Just pour it back into the marketing and sales aspect. And then that was funded with my own money. So that was one of my biggest lessons so far this year for sure.
Yeah. It's a learning curve. I mean, all of real estate really is, right? But I feel that flipping is not a good place for people to start unless they have access to the money and already have the means to float themselves until that actually, becomes profit. Because in the meantime, anything can happen, and there's always surprise. You get a phone call, the basement's flooding. I'm like, oh, great. Or there's this issue. I just had a retaining wall issue. That was like a 40-foot long, 10-foot high retaining wall that I looked at and thought was fine, but apparently the township didn't, and the neighbor complained, and now I'm fixing a retaining wall. So I got my way through it, but that was just like, they ate up so much of my time, where I could have been focusing on the company or, maybe more top of the funnel decisions, but instead I'm stressing over a retaining wall.
Yeah.
Not effective. Crazy.
Not effective. Not the best use of my time. But, of course I figured it out, but it just, it's just a perfect example of like how flips can be a pain in the ass.
Yep.
Although with a flip you can make $200K, on a flip, like a fat flip, like that's great. I love that. That's fun.
Yeah.
Or I mean, you can assign something for 20 to 30, so it's
So you're a big inbound lead guy, obviously. Then you're with the PPC and the mail, correct?
Yes, sir. Vast majority is inbound. We do some outbound with the cold callers, but they're calling, the lists I get through my direct mail company that I use. So I hit the direct mail cold callers.
Okay.
Yeah, which is it's a good use of the data, and we definitely get deals from cold callers.
So that's got to be your biggest source right now is the mail. Is that your biggest deal source?
It was last year. This year, actually, believe it or not, it's still probably our biggest source. It's mail slowed down a lot. All marketing channels for me for the past like 3 months have been surprisingly slow. I don't know.
In the summer.
Yeah, it could have been that, but last summer, dude, we were ripping. I mean, I get like those, those reminders on like Snapchat and stuff like that of like the videos I was taking. I was like, hey, I was like, we had 15 deals on the board in July. What the hell?
Summer over here is slamming, bro. I've been getting after it this summer.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The market's it's like any other thing, man. I mean, sometimes people want to sell, sometimes people don't, and we just weren't getting a lot of really motivated leads or any leads at all. Now we are, so things are starting to ramp up again, which is good. Like I said, I mean, this month was probably $200K plus month.
Nice.
So in August, provided no one backs out of their agreements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, killing it, bro. Good stuff.
Yeah, and that's actually with a 3-person team right now. It's me and 2 salespeople. So I'm
Well,
hiring a lead manager. It's gonna be my next hire.
You got somebody doing dispo? You doing dispo? How you handling
I'm
that?
just about daddy right here. Yeah, I'm handling
Yeah,
all of it,
there you
and
go.
I'm also like doing a lot of the transaction coordination. So it's
Okay.
it's tough.
Bro, I hate this.
Not the place I want to be, but it's where I'm at right now. Until I'm gonna
All right.
start delegating even more. But I think this year for me, it's really just building a good team.
Yeah.
How are
That's
you
really the only
handling
thing I'm
all this
focusing.
dispo? I guess if you're in a local, you're in the same market all the time, so you have every buyer.
Investor list. Yeah, I use investor list, and I have a pretty big list. I think we have like 80,000 buyers in PA. So it's sizable. And yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, like the art of what we do is finding a good deal. If you have a good deal, it's pretty easy to sell. If you have a deal that isn't a great deal, it's not going to be easy to sell. The deals, I mean, that's the hardest part, right? Is really finding the deal, making sure it's a good deal, making sure you're a good fit for the seller, and getting it to closing. The finding the buyer part's never really been an issue for me.
It's funny because I don't know, maybe someone watching this, I'll ask this for them. That's such a fucking popular question too, and I'm always shocked because I'm like, that's really the easiest part. But when someone hears I have an 80,000 person buyers list, I mean, for you, what contributes to that? What can you tell that person that's like, hey, I want to build a massive buyers list as well? What goes into that?
Well, I actually had someone in our network who's a good friend of mine who's been wholesaling, I think, in PA for like 10 years. And he just had built a massive buyers list and just gave it to us.
Wow.
So
make good friends.
Make good friends. It's all about your network, man. Like I said, I met the dude who's like, private money through the best realtor in the world, Janelle Logan. And she's hooked me up with so many people. So, I really, I went through the gutter. So I went through like, driving for dollars, like deal machine, like driving around doing like the hustle in like a 2008 Mercury Grand Marquis with like 5K in my bank account. Right. But like in terms of like the struggle from where I was there to where I'm in today has been much besides like hard work and like honestly understanding like where I need to, like what I need to do, hiring the right coaches and building the proper network. I've had it pretty easy. I don't have like a rag to riches story or anything like that. And if I were to tell anyone anything, I mean, focus on finding the deal first. Focus on your underwriting. Make sure you're actually getting a deal because you're going to waste a lot of time if it's not. And you're also, more importantly, going to waste the seller's time. If they're in a shitty situation, you got to make sure you're actually the person at the right price to help them. Again, this is a service-based industry, so you are providing a service to these people. Especially, and that's what gives a lot of people who do what we do a bad name is because you get like novice people like locking up someone who's like in foreclosure, and their house is going to go to foreclosure in like 30 days, and they, you can either save them or you can't, and they don't understand like where they need to be numerically because they don't know how to comp or they don't know how to underwrite, and they don't sell the deal and they don't tell the seller until it's too late. Now the seller's screwed, and you hate to see that because that does happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Hey, they're giving us a bad name. That's all right. I think that
Yeah.
we do so much good work, it makes up for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think wholesalers as a whole are definitely a good thing. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? I mean, this is a nationwide, multiple countries are doing. I mean, anything that involves an asset. I mean, they have like the cash for car guys. It's the same thing, man. I mean, people get stuck in situations where there's only a specific person that can truly help them out of it. And they have to make that decision again. Like, is price the concern, which is always a question I ask. Hey, like what's your biggest motivation in selling your property? Is it price, or do you need like convenience? Do you need time? I mean, what's really the most important thing for you? If they say price, oh man, awesome, great. Listen, I have to be honest with you. I think you came to the wrong place. Most people who work with us are generally someone who's willing to be a little bit flexible on price in order to have convenience and time. If you wanted to get maximum price, my recommendation is that you contact a realtor, do the required things you need to do to make the property presentable and sell fast. Deal with the negotiations once it's on the market. Fill out any of the seller disclosure information, and then deal with all the walkthroughs and commissions, closing costs, all that other stuff. Just be careful too if you deal with contractors. Sometimes you can get burnt, so make sure you find a good contractor. But if all those things are stuff that you want to deal with, then I think you should go the other route. I wish you the best of luck. And most of the time, you're like, I don't want to deal with that. Like, all right, well, great. Like then you're in the right place.
Yeah.
It's all about how you explain it. Because if you tell someone like, I don't think we're a good fit, but just listen for a realtor, that's kind of, you might be giving something away. But you want to make sure you walk them through all that's involved if they go that route, just to help them come to their own conclusion, right? Because that's like, most important part of sales, right, is convincing people to come to their own conclusions without actually having to say these things to them. You want to like kind of like work their way around it. Like if the conclusion's here, you want to like build a circle around it to help them reach it on their own.
They need to close themselves, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So. Yep.
Beautiful, man.
I like that. And would you say, obviously, so your $30,000, is that assignment fee or does that include hotels and all that stuff?
Oh no, $30,000 average, and I could say assignment fees, but most of the time it's like I said, the installment sales.
Oh yeah, the installment sales. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually called like a release fee. So when you get paid, you get a release fee.
I'm just trying to figure out how exactly that works. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, right? When someone told me that, when I had my attorney explain that to me, I was like, dude, what? How? I was like, I don't have to pay twice the closing costs. Like, I don't have to double close. He's like, no.
So I'm getting a title search, right? We're getting the PSA signed.
ISA, yep.
So we're not even getting a PSA signed.
Mm-mm.
Just the ISA initially.
So you sign. Yeah, no, you do sign the PSA, and then when you get clear title, then you sign the ISA, and then, like I said, on the final closing, the regular deed package, everything else would be signed.
And when we sign the ISA, I'm just marketing it. We're doing whatever.
You're allowed to do whatever you want with it. Yeah.
What if the seller says, "I don't want you in our house"?
Dude, they're beat. You own it with them. You know, I mean, there's no way for them out.
Yeah,
it's our house now. Yeah, I mean, it's like kind of like that guy from that movie where he's like on the dude from Somalia. He was like, "Look at me, I'm the captain now." It's like, "Look at me, I'm the co-owner now." But you know, you definitely have to be, again, transparent about the process, right? You know, you want to help them understand, like, if it's really important for them to get money up front, like, you know, this is the process that's involved. Mm-hmm. And most of the time they don't have an issue. And if they do, then there's always other exit strategies you can go over. Shit, you could double close if you want. You could do a traditional assignment. I'm trying to avoid that right now. Just, again, I don't know what regulations are going to truly take into effect. So I've been doing my best to avoid that entirely.
Mm-hmm. In Pennsylvania, for you two, if you don't know, they pass some baloney law. You can't.
Yeah, Act 52. It simply states you have to have. But the problem with that, it's like, if I wanted to do things like the way that they recommend, which would require me to partner with a broker, either in the company or on the agreement, I have to be a licensed realtor, and I have to allow them to back out within 30 days after signing the agreement. They right through. It's just like all these things. It's like, dude, I'd rather just either pay twice the closing costs.
Yeah.
Or, just, get creative with the installment sale or buy it myself and actually flip it. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
So the reason for that is specifically to combat the legislation.
Yeah, again, the legislation's here. I build a circle around it, and that's, I'm reaching the same conclusion, just a different route. Yeah. It's a gray area for everyone, man. I mean, it's going to be tougher for new wholesalers if they enforce it at all. I don't know if they are or aren't. It seems like they aren't doing diddly squat. But again, I mean, it's kind of up to what your risk tolerance is, what's important to you. I personally would prefer to keep myself away from that if I can, and I found a way to do it. And honestly, these installment pitches are the easiest thing ever,
Yeah, well, I would assume so, because you're just giving them money. So, like, I would say
it's literally the same thing as it's the same thing they're getting from any other wholesaler besides better. They're getting everything they want, but they get money even quicker, which they most of the time need. So if anything, you're actually even offering more of a service to the seller. It's actually benefiting them even greater to go this route because they need the money as fast as possible.
Have you been met with the situation where you gave the money and they're like, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to do this. And obviously they can't do it because you could just screw them in court, but you'll still have to pay for attorney fees, which will be a pain in the ass. Has that happened?
Yeah, I'm
yet,
sure no, that hasn't happened yet. No.
Good.
No, and they quite literally can't sell it to anyone. Yeah, I mean, and again, also too, is like, what's your risk tolerance? Like, if I'm really like a bill out report with the seller, and like I know this is what they need, and like they're going to sell it to us no matter what. Like, you just kind of have that feeling, a lot of times, especially if it's like an in-person deal. It might be harder virtual, but like in person in the same market, they know our brand, they know everything about our company. I'd be willing to give them more money than you actually need to. I mean, you only have to give them like $5,000. So it's a $5K gamble, which in the game that we play is,
I'm down with that. Is that
I'm taking
5K to make 30? I mean, those are pretty good odds, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not industries. I mean, obviously, still you have your overhead and everything else that's involved, but it just makes sense to me. And actually, too, I feel better about it too. I mean, I know them providing sellers a lot more value with this option, and they like it. And I haven't had anyone complain about it yet. So.
And you're the owner too, basically. So
there's no way out for them. Yeah, I mean, again, sure, if it turns into like a legal battle, I'll win. It's just going to take time, energy, and money. But
I'm curious, when you go to sell the property and you guys are both on title,
I sign a sales agreement with the end buyer directly as the owner of the property.
Just you.
Yep, and the only thing that the seller has to sign off on is the deed at closing.
Nice.
Yeah. It's pretty legit, dude. It's sick. So I can even make, obviously you can write your own assignment agreements, but I can write my own sales agreement with the buyer and make it as beneficial to me as possible, dude. It's like whatever I gave that seller, let's say in that front, cash forward program that I gave him, I make the end buyer give me an earnest money, non-refundable,
right?
So that's mine. If shit falls through, it's obviously if it's on the seller's end, that's theirs. But if they back out and I have to buy the place, not only do I buy the place, but I also get their earnest money. So it's like, it's a win, even if that happens.
So what's your process when it comes to incoming leads? Obviously, I know you have PPC, you have direct mail. What's your general process? It hits your CRM, boom. What's next?
Great question. Yeah. So if it's PPC, we try to reach out to them in under 2 minutes. So one of the sales guys will immediately rip into them. Start with a blue text off an iPhone, then immediately call. And that way, if they have an iPhone or they have any type of caller ID system, it says like, hey, this is Matt with Pikeland Property Group, or whatever. So at least they know who's calling. And then the sales process in terms of like how I normally go is like, we spend 45 minutes. That's the goal on the phone with the seller to build as much rapport as possible, going over all the nitty gritty, talking about, how their day's going, what's important to them, starting off with the simplest question too, the initial conversation is like, hey, Mr. Seller, a really open-ended question here, but what do you got going on? How can we help? And then kind of gauging off of what they say, I mean, getting divorced. My wife needs to sell the house. I just need it gone. Awesome. And then you just talk to them again, go through the normal script, which kind of goes over a lot of property details and stuff like that. And once we have that conversation, the ending of that conversation, hey man, I just need to be honest with you. For me to make an offer we can stand behind, I do need to come out and see the property. Is that something you're okay with? Most of the time they always are. And you schedule the appointment, make the appointment, meet them in person. 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, as long as you can be at that property, the better. You're sitting down with them, you're petting their dog, you hang out with their cat. I don't care how gross the house is. You make them feel like they matter and they're important. And then after that, you obviously we get all the photos and stuff like that. We underwrite it within the same day and generally make an offer later that day or the next day, and go from there. But yeah, that's pretty much the sales process. Again, in person, appointment scheduled after a 45-minute conversation, offer same day or next day.
Nice. How quick is the turnaround time? Like how for the appointment setting? Like how quick are you on average you getting that appointment?
So that's the part that's kind of tricky, right? Because you're working with the seller's schedule. So as soon as we can, we even schedule appointments on weekends, but it's really as soon as we can get in there. But sometimes the seller, they can't get you in there for a couple weeks, and so that's kind of where you're just doing follow-up, building rapport, trying to figure out how you can get into the property. If they want a range before you see the property, we can give them a range, but we never really give an offer without seeing the property.
Respect.
It's just part of the process, and I stick to it. I treat every single lead the same, regardless of obviously what type of lead source or what marketing stream they're coming from, with the exception, obviously, of cold call, because sometimes it's hard to get a hold of people. They're not as urgent. You don't have to reach out right away, but we still try to reach them as soon as we can. PPC is the one that's really on the timeline, because if your ad populates first, there's multiple other ads below that, and more often than not, you might be the second or third person they've already called. Mm-hmm. So you want to reach out to them right away before they call more people, or someone calls them back. Yeah. So you got to hit them quick. It's very important. And I always have the most success off of iPhones. So we have like the VoIP systems for, all, the CRM and everything like that, but we always use personal cell phones.
Nice. That's a good idea. I'm going to try that. I spend 25 on PPC as well. And one of the things that we do is we've configured it where it rings my cell phone when a new lead comes in automatically, mm-hmm. and all my sales guys' cell phones as well. Mm-hmm. And what they can do is they can answer the call live, and it automatically starts ringing the seller's phone number as well. So
oh, that's awesome.
fill it out. I mean, there's some times where the seller's like, "Oh, this is you guys. I haven't even finished filling out the form."
Damn, that was quick.
Put it up an asking price, but that's for PPC. I mean, it's key. Speed to lead.
Yeah, I do love how they say that too a lot. It's like, yeah, man, we don't mess around here, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, you guys are quick. Like, yeah, we don't mess around.
That's a good feeling too when they say that. You're like, yo, I am on top of it. I'm dialed.
Yeah, it shows a level of professionalism, right? Because I mean, the people judge a book by its cover. The first interaction they make with you is going to kind of set the stage for the rest of what's going to go on, you know. So again, it helps too, like, with the in-person appointments to have like an actual uniform. You know, if you show up in a company car, it helps even more. But anything you can do to separate yourself from the rest of everyone else who's talking to them, you know, it kind of does revolve around, you know, professionalism, presentability, you know, being well-spoken, obviously understanding the situation, offering them services, stuff like that. So it's more just showing up and making an offer. So
I like that. You would hate how I show up to appointments about it.
Dude, if it works for you, keep it going, man. I used to be that guy that showed up in like, you know, just a regular outfits and like sneakers, and it just didn't work as well than when I showed up in like, you know, looking more professional. Granted, if I go to appointments now, I'm in a BMW versus a 2008 Grand Marquis. So, I mean, that, you know, it's a little bit, I used to show up to appointments and like, dude, you can't afford my house. Like, what do you mean? You know, it's just, again, they judge the book by its cover.
They show up in his robe.
Yeah, dude, I used to park. Like, if the appointment was somewhere, I used to park like down the street so they didn't see my car. You know, and I didn't walk up to it.
I get out of the back seat. I had an appointment before this.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Gangster.
That definitely helps. Yeah, if you're getting limoed around, you know, getting chauffeured, you got to drive.
I like that. Damn, I had another one, but it's slipped my mind. So, anyone else?
Good stuff.
Harrison, you got anything else you want to share with us before we pop off this, John?
Yeah, sure. So if anyone is watching this or they see these clips and they have a deal that maybe they're working on and they're not sure how to take it to closing or how to follow the Act 52 regulations, hit me up. My team and me can help take it to closing, and, you know, obviously we'll give you your whatever you want, 50% for the most part, and down the JV with anyone. You know, I'll take it from lead that they don't even know what they're doing with to closing and getting paid. So I've been doing that a lot lately.
Nice, man.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Let's go. Heck yeah, fellas.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys having me. Let's hit these questions. Let's bang them out.
Yeah, Harrison, it's been awesome meeting you, man. You're awesome, dude. I'm loving it.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for the game.
Yeah.
For sure.
We got some questions, you said, I guess?
Yeah, so the most recent one, there's a couple in the comments. Florencio said, Noah, how do you do your wholesaling if it's virtual? So, Jordan, I know you can tap in on this too. Just the same as Harrison does in person, except here's the one flip. Harrison said, hey, we don't make an offer until we see the house. We say, hey, we don't come see the house until we have an accepted offer.
Yep.
So that's the only
wow, what a good way to verbalize that too. I like that.
Yeah.
Hey, Noah, let's add a little bit to that. What companies do you use to go get the photos virtually and put on?
I don't use companies. It's on the seller. It's in the agreement. The effective date of the agreement, our timeline does not begin until we get approved photos from the seller.
Interesting.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
For virtual things, I use Investor Boots. It's like $180. It's free. Take it. And they do a great job. They do a beautiful video walkthrough. It's nice.
Yep. I've used Investor Boots.
Using that. Stop paying for any boots on the ground. If you are doing virtual and you are getting an accepted offer, me personally, I won't send anyone over to a house unless we have a signed agreement already. Because there's too many times where they'll say, yeah, listen, come over, come take a look. And then we go and they're like, you know what? Actually, my husband doesn't really want to sell. We just sent someone over there for no reason. Find someone. So my TC, like I told you guys a few weeks ago, is also a licensed agent. Find the agents that are Keller Williams or Colwell, whatever they are. They have these nationwide networks where in the biggest markets, the smallest markets across the country, they're able to find a local agent that will go run out there, take pictures, run comps for you, tell you about the neighborhood, tell you about the block, tell you about the school district, all that stuff. The shit that you may not know, they go do for you. So we don't pay
What
for
brokerage was it with?
Say that again?
What brokerage is your TC with?
He is with Keller Williams. So they have this nationwide, agent database where even in the smaller, like we get PPC leads sometimes in like a little rinky-dink town, like we'll have someone out there same day. Like it's that effective. So
That's golden.
Down and stuff like that.
It's golden.
That's what's up. That's good.
Yep. It's key.
There we go.
Love it, man.
All right. Let's go, boys.
All right.
Good to see y'all.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Safe travels. Harrison, awesome to meet you. Jordan, great to see you again.
Yes, likewise,
Awesome to see you guys, man.
Heck yeah, Harrison, thank you so much. Jordan, no, I'll see you motherfuckers next week. Let's go, baby. All right.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.